So they had the referendum vote take place. The old Swiss peoples. Now last week I mentioned they were going to do that in regards to getting their gold back in their country, rather than letting the Federal Reserve in London, of course, do whatever the hell they do with their gold. Now here's the interesting thing. This referendum was only going to ask for 20%, or ask that 20% of its gold, the Swiss gold, is held in its own continent or in its own country. It's not like they wanted 100% or 80%. They only wanted 20%. And as soon as that happened, where they said there's going to be this vote coming up on Sunday, which was yesterday, enroll the propaganda media. Trust me, you don't want this. You don't want to take your gold back because of the way they use it in the swap markets and this and that. It's complicated, but it helps keep your dollar, the Swiss franc, stable. And you don't want to do this. Trust us. I'll say it again. If you don't hold your gold, you don't own it. And the Swiss people, you don't own it. Now here's the interesting thing. I mentioned this last week. I'm just going to repeat it. In order for a referendum to even come up as a possibility, to even get it out there to be voted on, it's going to take a lot of people pushing for it, getting signatures, right, getting all that done to where they say, hey, we've met the criteria that the government asked, we'd like this to be voted on. So it's not like one or two people decided, let's get our gold back. You know what I mean? So the vote comes out Sunday, and it's 78% in favor of leaving it the way it is. We don't want our gold. Just leave it out there in other people's possession, such as the Federal Reserve in America and London, basically. The Swiss people voted 78% that they don't want their gold back in their own country. They'd rather leave it offshore somewhere in these other countries. Now, what in the hell kind of sense does that make? Let me tell you what sense that makes. You know when they have our elections, and mostly presidential elections here in America, 51-49, it's like, it's always that real close margin. God, we almost made it. The Democratic president almost made it. Maybe we'll get him next time. You're not too upset because, man, a lot of people think like I did. We were 49 against 51. Man, that's close. It's not like a blowout like 78%, no. So that tells us, better luck next time. And the next time comes and there's a couple new puppets and maybe you actually win. Maybe the Democrats win this time and the Republican lost. Oh my God. See? Better luck next time. It's next time we won. Strangely enough, we won 51-49. And now the Republican Party people are saying, man, we lost, but it was close. Maybe we'll win next time. So it keeps you kind of, it's like entertainment, pure entertainment value. That's all the voting is, not just in this country, but voting generally speaking. It's just for entertainment purposes. And I'll leave you with this, too. Remember what Lindsey Williams said several years back? He said there's going to be an uprising in the Middle East. It's going to go from country to country to country. He named the countries it would start and go from then on in. And he said the Muslim Brotherhood would be given control and power to take over those countries. The first one of those countries, he said, would be number one to go was Egypt. And he was right. They held a vote. First time Democratic vote. Everyone come on in. Everybody can vote. We heard you. The votes are in. We counted it. And survey says Muslim Brotherhood guy won. Not by a lot. 51-49. Oh my God. Maybe we'll get him next time, right? But the people there realized, year and a half later, something's wrong with this guy. He's removing all of the other governmental bodies, basically, all the people that were in power. He's just removing them, putting his own people in place. They saw the writing on the wall. They physically overthrew his ass and put someone else in power. Not voted. They didn't vote him in. They physically threw the guy out. They did the right thing. That's how it has to be done. It's the only way change can happen. So the point of this is they rigged the votes in another country and fooled those people too. 51-49, man, you almost got it. Nope, but Muslim Brotherhood guy, the outsider, won. Oh, okay. So the point is, do you think maybe the Swiss vote was rigged as well? Now, you're going to say, well, if it was, then Snip4, why wasn't it another 51-49 type of scenario? Why was it a blowout 78%? That's because the elite, the club, doesn't want anybody to think, darn, maybe we'll get him next time. Let's do another referendum. Maybe we'll get the gold back next time. No, they don't want that. They want you to know you got stomped out so hard, damn near 80% of the population does not want that gold back. They want to leave it abroad. They don't want it back in their country. They don't want their biggest financial asset back in their country. They'd rather leave it elsewhere. And the 78% vote proves this. Case closed. Don't ever bring up a referendum like this again. It's nonsense. That's why that was a blowout, in my humble opinion. Now, I tried to do this video earlier on the way to work, but since, you know, quite a number of days had passed, I hadn't done a video, and this little camera apparently was very, very low on battery power, and 1.5 minutes into the video, and it cut off on me, and that was the end of that. So I let it charge up at work and figured I'd do a video on the way home today, and then a video in the morning on the way back to work tomorrow, and then I'll just upload both of them tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, that you should be seeing these videos. So, you know, when you look, when you don't really see anything wrong and you can't figure out all this stuff, and you don't understand that the voting's rigged and all the politicians are pre-selected, the presidents are pre-selected, they're put in, you know, power. When you don't know that, it's hard to look and say, man, why did all these revolutions start in the past? Like, how does it just happen? Because it's a cyclical type of thing. Throughout different types of regimes, governments in power, it seems like ultimately, sooner or later, they're physically overthrown. Why are they physically overthrown? This isn't the first time people got to vote for a leader, right? This isn't the first democracy known to mankind. Now, you know, starting in 1776 when America declared independence. No, this is not the first democracy. And other democracies ended with people being overthrown. Look no further than even the Roman Empire, and some, you know, the other empires going back, you know, hundreds and thousands of years. Hundreds and thousands. I didn't say hundreds of thousands, just in case you didn't hear that. So, now that you know these things happen, vote rigging and all that, when you realize we are physically unable to vote our way out of this, even if the whole damn country woke up and we all held hands and said, everybody stand outside and talk to your neighbor and yell out and make sure everyone's going to vote for so-and-so, this independent new guy, right? We're not doing Democrats or Republicans, we're going independent. And you stood outside and held hands and with your neighbors and all the way down the street, across America, down every street. By God, it was a massive blowout of, okay, we're all on the same page. There's no way that this vote will go any other way. This guy's going to be the new president. And then all of a sudden we vote, go to do the electronic machine and print a little receipt that says, yeah, this is who you voted for, but it's not going to tell you the total, of course. And then at the end of the day, it tells you, yeah, the guy lost 51-49%. Who would have ever thought an independent could get that high of a rating, you know, of a vote? Gosh, better luck next time, guys. And everyone would stand here and say, we know that did not happen. We know that vote did not go that way. Therefore, we know it's rigged. And since you won't allow paper ballots anymore, we're going to have to take matters into our own hands. That's how I can foresee the modern age society we're living in right now, how it ends, as long as things continue the way they are, and they are absolutely full steam ahead, continuing the way they are. No reason to see it not heading, you know, getting worse. So, do I know how much longer it's going to be before you see stuff like this? I mean, I cannot say. No idea. You know, and you see these, you know, the rioting over Ferguson. Hey, a grand jury found him not guilty. They saw every piece of evidence, every single eyewitness. We allowed every eyewitness to come into that court and allowed the jury to hear their testimony. And we found the officer not guilty. Now, the problem I have with that is, what about the Rodney King thing way back in the day? You got video of him getting the crap beat out of him, handcuffed. You can't, you know, just people taking turns on him. And they were pretty much acquitted, you know. So, at the same time, let's just go here for a second and say absolutely positively Officer Wilson was in the right 100%. Case closed. And now the aftermath, they're burning the town down. I just read that in, I think, St. Louis, a white cop just got beat in the head or beat up with a hammer by some black guys. You know, I don't know if he died or not. I don't recall. I barely saw that clip, but nonetheless, this is payback, right? Payback for the police brutality that they said that this kid got from this Officer Wilson. But if the grand jury found him not guilty, why are they still acting like this? Are they just savage animals? Or, if you spend any time on YouTube looking up police brutality, police wrongdoing, etc., 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 assaulted by police, etc., 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 you will see video after video after video after video after video, an unbelievable amount of videos of real deal, the police were wrong. And they usually get away with it. So when you have that in a part of town or part of a culture, and let's call it the black people culture, that, you know, lower class black people that live in the ghetto, that deal with that kind of stuff day in and day out, where they're basically used to the police lying and doing whatever they do to them, hitting them or hurting them, false, whatever. It's common to them. And then all of a sudden, one time happens where the officer was actually in the right. It still pisses them off the same, because in their mind, yeah, you're probably lying again, blah, 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 blah. There's no real witness who was standing in the car to really hear the exchange of words and see what really happened. They were all a distance away. So in their mind, they're probably thinking, he probably still shouldn't have shot this kid. But when you add up all of the brutality from all these years, just adding up and adding up and adding up, people get to a point where they don't care anymore. And any little thing's going to set them off. And this is that thing that I believe set them off. And it's just my opinion on it. It also goes along to show you how things are just getting worse. Rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer, and this kind of crap, you're going to keep hearing this because you're not going to have different officers, officer-friendly step in and take over. It's the same kind of people, the same kind of mindset, thuggery, abuse of power, these power-hungry people. They're out there. Look at your politicians. These guys are power-hungry, out of control. So yes, plenty of police officers are the same way. Why? Because they're humans, and we all just seem to go down this path at the end of a great civilization for some reason until everything resets. So, I will talk to y'all later. Take care.